Hello, good evening, and welcome to another edition of the CantinaMX podcast, a special, probably our favorite day to do these, a Taco Tuesday edition of the CantinaMX podcast. A lot of stuff's going on right now, and we really don't want to wait. There's so much going on that we don't want to wait until Thursday to get to it. So we want to talk about some stuff with you all tonight. Of course, live on YouTube, and you can listen to this and other editions of our CantinaMX podcast from the Podcast Center on iTunes or on Google Play. So we do thank you for joining us. My name is John Jagu. Have with us, as always, a distinguished panel of guests. And we're going to spend about an hour or so tonight talking about Mexico and the Confederations Cup, their game against Russia, and what's ahead against Germany. So we invite you to pull up a chair and crack open a cold one and enjoy the next hour of conversation. Of course, I can't do it alone. I have a fantastic panel that will help us here this evening. Over in Kyle, Texas, Alberto Campa joins us. Albert, how are you?
Hey, what's up, John? Doing good.
Albert and I will be heading over to Houston tomorrow to cover the Mexico-Ghana match over at NRG. Thank goodness in late June in Houston, it's a good thing that stadium has a roof on it and air conditioned, so it'll be a very pleasant experience. Looking forward to that.
It'll be great.
Over in Escondido, California, a man who has just poured himself an Irish whiskey. So I don't know if that's just because that's the only way he can handle doing this show, or maybe just it helps him relax, or maybe both. I'm not sure. Of course, I'm talking about Daniel Preciado. Daniel, how are you?
I'm doing great, John.
So
Glad to be here.
What is the truth there? Do you drink the whiskey during the show to take the edge off, or is it the only way you can deal with listening to?
No. It's to take the edge off. It's been an awfully long day.
All right. Well, we appreciate you coming on, Dan, as always, and of course out in South Los Angeles, we have Joel Aceves that joins us. Joel, how are you?
Doing good, John.
Yeah.
Anxiously awaiting the match.
Joel, have you do you go and do you taunt your Americanista neighbor that you have a couple houses down from you?
I keep forgetting. I think he left quite the impression on you, John.
Well, so I turned on Joel's I guess the first cross street by where Joel lives in Los Angeles, and I was turning around, and I happened to turn around in the house of a guy that has, the entire house might as well be America yellow. I mean, he has America painted on the curb. He has a huge America sign over his entrance. It's pretty obvious he's big. So I figured you might throw some red and white stripes somewhere. Maybe some streamers or something. Or like a red and white pinwheel you can stick in his yard.
No, I rarely see that guy. I don't think I've ever have even seen him, because I live I live around the corner.
Right.
But yeah, that thing is huge. I mean, when there was game days, he would throw parties.
I bet.
You could hear that Parchís song blasting.
So you don't even have to. So you wouldn't even have to watch the game. You could know exactly what was going on just by the reactions of the crowd.
Pretty much.
My wife used to say that when I would do the UT Spanish radio, and I'd go produce. She says she wouldn't even have to open up the windows in the house in the fall. It's just because the weather's a little nicer. She said she knew she didn't ever have to watch the game because of just the reaction of the people around the neighborhood. She knew exactly what was going on. She's like, "Well, Texas must be winning because the crowd's been cheering a lot today and stuff." So it's a very good barometer. But we are here to talk about the 2017 Confederations Cup. As most of you know, hopefully all of you know, there are 4 semifinalists. Tomorrow we have our first game between Chile and Portugal. And then on Thursday, Mexico plays Germany. Mexico came in second place in their group after beating Russia 2-1. Portugal won their match against New Zealand 4-0, so they on goal differential claimed first place. Mexico got second place. I think Mexico got the better end of that because they got an extra day of rest, and I think they're playing the more manageable of the two teams. So, I'm not sure that I'm not going to just flatly predict Mexico's going to win this game, but I think that this is a winnable game for Mexico. I don't think that there's any question that's the case, and we'll discuss that at length. But let's talk about the Russia game. I know that there was a lot of luck involved for Mexico, but it ended up working out for them. I think it would have in the end anyway, just by the way that they were playing. So, where do we stand now with, or where does the job situation stand with Juan Carlos Osorio? Is he now has he earned the right now to go ahead and know that he's going to be comfortably coaching through the World Cup,
Well, John,
or is he? Go ahead, Jorge.
Necio de Maria pretty much confirmed him, and I had the article and I lost it, but he
said yesterday, didn't he? He said that he said that he is our coach and will be through at least through the World Cup.
And I mean, technically, he's met all the objectives so far. They put, yeah, he is and will continue to be the coach. That's what he said.
It's one thing that we've talked about on the show is, at least it's been my opinion that each little group of games that he's had since what happened last summer has been like a little mini test, and there was thresholds that he had to pass in order for him to continue, and frankly he's met them all. So hopefully this will be
okay. I have his quote. He said, "What is important is is building the team, and so they have nothing to complain about in that regard." So he says against Germany, he kind of says it doesn't really matter much if you beat them or not, as long as it's
Now, Decio de Maria, if I'm not mistaken, it really has nothing to. I mean, technically, officially, has nothing to do with the national team. Is that correct?
No,
He's
no.
He is the Liga MX commissioner. So do you remember they're separate from
he's
the
FMF president. He's the president of the Mexican Football Federation.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is, sir.
Is he still?
The president of Liga MX is damn, I mentioned his name the other day. But it's some other dude that was the one announcing Copa MX with MLS, and he was announcing the 9-9 rule. But yeah, he's the president.
Oh, I thought it was the other way around. I thought that Decio was the.
No, Enrique Bonilla is the Liga MX president.
He's a Liga MX. Okay, I was.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, he could say that. It still comes down to the owners.
Now, did you infer by what he said that though? And by the way, it doesn't matter what happens with the Germany game. He's good.
Well, as long as it's as long as the style points are there, John.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, I'd say Osorio is about 95% guaranteed, because I think there's still that 5% chance that Mexico loses terribly.
Yeah, but you know what, Dan?
And I think two embarrassments might be enough to sway enough of the owners to ask him to leave.
It's not even about that though. A lot of times it's just that you have a couple owners that they just don't want you there. I mean, and if they have something else secure, they'll do what they can to kick you out. So
I think right now though it'll be tough to pull off though, because right now, I mean, assuming they at least put up a fight, I mean, I don't know. I have trouble seeing them actually pulling the trigger and firing him for any other reason if he doesn't at least give him some kind of pretext to fire him.
So
you're right.
The only way that they fire him if it's a result based if he takes another 7-0 pounding. 6-0.
I think that's the only way you can justify it, because qualifying is pretty much a guaranteed thing. You can't expect too much out of the Gold Cup considering the squad that's being sent. There's just not a whole lot of reason to get rid of them.
True, true. But you know what? There is a big section of Mexico, not just media, but also like club owners and presidents. They feel that his all of these changes he does is hurting the team, and that the team has not reached its potential because he's not allowing it. It's like a sacrifice that he won't let. He won't let you know, he doesn't have a solid base to build from because he always sends a different lineup.
And they're taking it to another level with this too. The press is going crazy. Like big names for journalists are like hating on Osorio like no other.
Yeah, yeah. And what Chiqui said, Record recently took out an article and they interview like 20 different football personalities and you know giving their take on the rotations.
And also, you got to consider the like say they go to Germany and they get wiped like 4-0. Then they have a third place game, and if they get wiped 4-0 again, or like go the other.
Yeah, I definitely think there's a potential there for him to get fired for sure. But while a lot of people do hate him, I mean that's clear. I mean, you turn onto any channel, you're gonna hear the majority of the pundits.
So I have an honest
agreeing.
question. I'll let you finish that. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So would he be hated this much if he was an Argentine or a Brazilian?
If he was a big name, Argentine or Brazilian, I think
he would though. I mean, considering if
so you don't think that matters?
I think the main thing here is how unorthodox and how unconventional everything he does. It just rubs people the wrong way because people are used to doing things a certain way. Now,
Well, you know
if he was a different nationality, I think they would still take issue with it.
Maybe not like I was thinking like a Bielsa or that other dude from the coach Chile. Like those type of big names, it wouldn't be as much. But
you mean Sampaoli?
But they're not pulling anything like remotely close to what Osorio's done. I mean, they have, I guess, on some level, but nothing to that extent. That's what I'm saying. Like he's a pretty unique case. I mean, he almost does it. Almost you almost think that he does it on purpose just for the Russell, because I mean that lineup that he threw out for New Zealand it just made everybody just flip out.
I think the press is going too overboard on this. Also, they're going too crazy and hating too much. Like Johnny Rico and some other people, but like it's taking it to the other level to where their cheerleaders are coming out and saying it's a sad scenario to see all these people just hate on the Mexican national team when they're Mexican. Why can't they support? I understand like constructive criticism, saying like in the Centenario when we were talking about the play against Jamaica and how it was bad and they need to improve, and then all of a sudden Chile comes in 7-0, and that could very well happen here. They haven't been playing the greatest. I would say a little bit better since they did beat Russia and did do well against Portugal, but maybe a 3-0 or something, 3-1 against Germany might be something reasonable.
What's up, guys?
Well, the thing about the
what's up, dude? Rio's joined us.
Rigoberto El Raton Ayala has joined us. How are you, Rigo?
Good, you guys. Good. How are you guys doing?
Rigo Tobar.
Or that one.
Make that his intro.
Rigo Tobar. Okay.
What are you guys talking about?
What else would we be talking about? We were talking about the love-hate thing that Juan Carlos Osorio has going on right now.
Well, you know what? He's got a great chance to shut up a lot of people. Yeah, I mean, if they can put up the W, it's hard to criticize at that point, right?
Yeah, it's hard to keep hating at that point.
Now, I did see that clip from Fútbol Picante where Jorge Ramos kind of poking the bear a little bit, but I do think that a lot of his detractors who are just completely against him, they probably will pull the B team card. But in my opinion, the way this team has looked and the way Germany just is, beating them is no small feat.
Yeah, and added to the fact that the collective market value of Germany's B team is still $750 million. So it's not as if they're playing against a bunch of guys that don't play.
But also, a lot of our players are undervalued, like Ochoa. Nobody wants him even for free.
I mean, the Mexico right now is valued. I think it was like between 150 to 200 million for the roster, and I do agree with you, Hoa, that number is low.
No, I mean, I think that, if they get a win, you really can't make a small feat about it. Like it's still Germany.
Well, it is,
and
it is still Germany. But again, this is a
Chile. Chile went out there with their full squad and didn't get a W. So,
yeah, but group games and knockout games are two entirely different games. And
I gotta agree with you, John, on that point. Yeah. I think Mexico's proven that they can beat anybody in a group stage.
Right. Knockout games are where it's at now. The big difference between the last time that Mexico played Germany, even in 2005, and I'm going back to '98, is that Chicharito plays against these guys every week. There are other players that play against that style of play every week now, where that just didn't happen. So they really have, to me, that this is no excuses. They can go out and win this game. I don't
He's
think that
teammates with Brandt, isn't he? Is that the only one who? Okay.
Julian Brandt, and I think there's another Leverkusen kid on. Yeah, but I mean, it's not like he can't. That these guys can't do it. They can. So
you got to think that a lot of the players themselves who. That's where I think the Champions League comes in. When you do play in the Champions League, it kind of does help because psychologically, you got to be thinking, I could handle anything. If I could hold my own in those types of games, then I could handle anything. I've seen these guys before.
Yeah, I mean, how many? Yeah, exactly. I mean, how many? I mean, was it 2 years ago where Raúl scored that amazing goal against? Was it Bayern? That kept them in the tie for like 20 minutes, where they actually had a chance to win it. And then of course Bayern scored, and that was that. But I mean, these guys have this is supposedly why they play in Europe, isn't it? Is so that when they go up against games like this, they're supposed to, I mean, they hung on a little bit, better against Holland than they did. Most people expected. So let's see him finish a game. Let's see him finish a game against a quality team like Germany.
I do think that Germany was the more favorable matchup for them of the other group.
Well, it would just make the story of playing Chile in the final that much better.
A lot more. Yeah. But I just think Chile is a much more difficult opponent just because styles are a little bit similar, and I don't think Germany's going to go out there and high press Mexico the way that a Chile would.
Also, the emotional and psychological factor that's going to be involved in that match if it happens. I don't know. I personally would rather the team, not that like as a fan I'd love to see it happen, but I don't know if I trust the players to handle that situation. Just of not to say that they're scared, but just the pressure to not fuck up like that again, and to try to like redeem themselves. Yeah, man. I don't know. Hopefully that motivational coach that they hired is doing a good job, because I still think that's where the team is a little weak, and I guess we'll see though. But I think that kind of pressure game, let's just put that off until we have as long as possible.
So what does the motivational coach do? I mean, does he have like one-on-one sit downs with them where he looks him in the eye and go, "Don't fuck it up," and then all right, send the next guy in? I mean, seriously, what? What do these head guys do? I mean, is it hypnosis? What tricks is he using to make?
Is Sergio listening? Maybe he could chime in and call in and
maybe he's making him watch Remember the Titans.
Is Sergio a head doctor?
I believe he is.
Is he a team psicólogo?
I don't know if he's ventured into that realm, but I do believe he's the most well-versed person that I know personally that could give us some insight on that.
Rigo talking about he put a movie for them. It reminded me of something that Chucho Ramirez did with the 2005 under-17 team, and he played them a song from one of John's favorite movies. He made him a motivational video, and he played a song from. It was from The Hunchback of.
That one?
No, not that one. It was from the cartoon Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Yeah, but it was Sueña. It was in Spanish with Luis Miguel.
Oh yeah.
So
was it the song?
No, not that one. Not that one. But I remember when Nigeria beat Spain, they did something similar. Bora did something similar where he made a video of the players' family, just wishing them luck and things like that.
Right.
And he played it for them before the match.
You know what I remember when Joel, I'm so sorry, John. I would mix in also highlights of their biggest goals against their biggest opponents, or just highlights of them just punking like a really good player, and just with all that just imagery of just filling them with confidence. I mean, you figure it's got to make them feel at least kind of good.
Just put season 1 of Super Campeones in on set, dude.
You know what they need to do is they need to play them the CantinaMX podcast on loudspeakers during their practice, and they'll have all the motivation they need to.
So you think spite? You think spite will light the fire?
We don't trash the players that much on the show or the coaches. Well, not
the coach. I believe the coach is getting shit on routinely on the show.
I'm not gonna lie, probably does. I try to.
You try to. I think I give you credit because I think you're mostly anti, but I think you try.
Hey man, I don't want the guy to fail. I don't want the guy to fail because that means Mexico fails. It's that to me, people that want to see that to me are just crazy. Makes no sense to me. Why do you want that to happen?
I just try to get inside of his head and just try to sort out what he's trying to achieve, and then just try to, because what I want is irrelevant. What I think the team would look better as to me is really irrelevant. So I just try to sort out what he's trying to do, and is there any kind of
I'll tell you progress. What he's trying to do. That he wants to make rotaciones his thing, man. You had, for example, the Dutch doing total football. You had, the Italians with Catenaccio, and he wants to go to the World Cup and do rotaciones and have that be he brought that to the table.
I mean, the other day.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, Joel, because the other team that's used all but their third keeper in the tournament is Germany.
Yeah, they've used 18 players, something like that.
Yeah, they've used every outfield player and the second keeper. The only one they haven't used is their third keeper. They didn't bring a full 23-man team either. They only brought 21, I think.
The only reason why it's not such a big deal is because he's not doing 8 at a time. I think the most he's done is rotated 4 players in and out of the squad, and also
right. But by the time the third team played, it was a completely different team than the first game.
So
it was an 8-player change.
When the team plays you see style of play and
Well, I mean, no offense,
congruency to them
but Germany's been playing like that. So they just do it a lot faster
for
now.
a
I mean,
long.
they've been
No,
playing like that
if we don't
I
look
get
at the
it.
New
I get
Zealand
it.
match, if
No,
we don't
I
look at
get
the
it.
New Zealand match, how consistent is the team looking?
Well, here's the thing about the New Zealand. This
'Cause you know
schedule
that was
could
a
not have
throwaway
been. This schedule could not have been set up more favorably for Mexico. The way that it was. So I mean, as he said, we looked. He looked at they started planning for the 6 months or since, and 6 months ago they decided that this is what they would do with this game. Of course. I mean, again, it was a huge gamble, and luckily for him, it paid off. But I mean, I have to admit that I think all of us in here would say, you know what? Mexico's second 11 against New Zealand should win that game every single time, regardless. It should happen. And so, was it really that much of a gamble?
Like I said,
I don't know why, but I'm craving
I don't think
ice cream.
it was that much. So me too, Mr. Softy. As a matter of fact,
Yeah.
I don't think it was that much in that particular game. The fact that he rotated 8 players in, I think it was because I think there's enough talent on that bench to beat the New Zealand team. I think what it was playing players out of position, not playing with the natural midfielder. Just
yeah.
It was like there was
I agree
play
with
with
you,
guys that fit in the position where they're supposed to play.
Yeah,
I think the midfield position was key. I mean, I think the game literally turned the second Herrera got in. I think you put in any decent midfielder in there that's what they do. I think even with a completely different squad, I agree with them. I think that the team wins, and it doesn't and it doesn't look as ugly as it did, because that first half was a total failure, total miss on his part.
Like he made tactical mistakes. Like I think we talked about it last week. He had Diego Reyes playing the center defensive midfielder, and when Salcedo goes out, he could have just moved him back into a center back role or to the right back.
Just put Herrera there
and put Herrera in there, and I think he would have controlled the game a lot better. So I don't think it's that so much the rotations in that particular game. I think it was just not playing with the correct players in their positions that really affected the team.
Isn't it kind of late for the ice cream truck? I mean, even on the West Coast.
that's outside of my house, John.
Yeah. Hey, Joel,
there's still a little bit of daylight left, John.
Is there? Joel, is that tiendita down below your crib? Do they have the paletas Vampiro, the Vampiro brand?
No,
you know what I'm talking about?
Actually, no.
No, the Vampiro was a popsicle that was Jamaica flavored with ciruela. So it was Jamaica and ciruela flavored, combined in one. It was outstanding.
When's the last time you had a junior flip?
The junior flip. It's been years, man.
Okay, so
I don't even got it anymore, man. I'm on everything.
I live on a busy street, and that's like the one thing that's just really disappointing to me, because my kids are never going to experience this so long as I live in this house. My kids are never going to experience the ice cream man, because ice cream men don't drive 50 miles an hour.
Jesus, you live on a street where the cars are going 50 miles an hour?
Yes.
That's crazy.
I thought you were going to say because you had a bad experience.
No, man, I love the ice cream man, dude, and I love the soft serve.
Candy. Oh, yeah.
All right, boys. So there's no, it's okay. This is a much better tangent than we had last week. So
I agree. I finally heard the show.
It was
Ronnie. Let's blame Ronnie since he's not.
Well,
on.
no, it's it was a combination of folk, but we. It's okay. I'm no angel. I'm no. But anyway, so there's a big problem that Mexico has, that Osorio has, that he has to solve, and it's going to go back to what we talked about ad nauseum in Rodrigo, particularly is okay, where are the midfielders on this roster? So who's going to replace Guardado? Is it going to be Marco Fabian or Rafa?
That seems to be the choice.
It has to be Marco Fabian.
I think Marco Fabian.
That's what I'm hoping
because
for.
he has. I mean, and especially over Giovanni, because at least Marquito has the discipline to actually defend.
He's got more box-to-box qualities than Gio does, for sure.
Right, he does, and he's a much better passer.
You know what I could see him doing? I could see him playing with Vela there, or switching Jonathan to that play the left side and put Vela on the right side in the midfield, because he's kind of done it before, where he's played Vela in like a center midfield.
Yeah, but again, but that does you no good, because I mean Vela doesn't defend either, so it's like
he doesn't, but he retains possession.
I like the idea of Marco because he of the options, he's the more balanced player. I think
he has the work rate. He has the work rate to go back. Yeah,
well, he just has better ball skills.
And then you have Herrera and Jonah to do most of the dirty work.
I mean, I personally would love it if he actually used a 4-man midfield against the Germans.
I think it'd be interesting to see how he'd play if they shoot up with Chucky. I don't know. I think it'd be slightly more aggressive. I'm hoping he goes that route and just goes for it, as opposed to the more conservative route and slots in Rafa in the middle.
Man, Rafa cannot play. I mean, he
can't.
He looks like he's like 60 years old. Running. I mean, he just looks so. I mean, he's, nah.
He's going to get beat like 5 times if he starts, and none of it's going to result in a goal. And somehow he's get a goal on a corner.
Leading 1-0, right? and it's the minuto 81. Then go ahead and put Rafa in and say, okay, let's lock this shit down. Right.
I do think, though, actually, all serious aside, I mean, I do think he's actually a really good sub to put in late in the game if the game is tied and you think it might go to penalties. I'd want to have him there.
Or for a set piece.
Yeah, exactly. Set piece, and even as a penalty kicker, I think he'd do well.
I could definitely see in this game him playing with Aquino and Chucky from the beginning. Aquino, Chucky, and Chicharo up front, and trying to counterattack and counter on speed and press them high. That's what I could see him trying to do in this game. Just because I feel like Germany's going to try and take the possession of the ball.
See that I guess I don't know. I mean, he tried to do that with
Portugal.
Well, no, last summer against Chile, because that was the lineup he threw out there. He threw out there Chicharo and Chucky, and so they never had the midfield because they were constantly trying to catch these guys on, send them through on these long bombs basically, and they just never had any control of they just never got any control of the game. So I hopefully they don't. If they do that, then don't.
I think if he plays Aquino, I'd rather see him up forward, not in the mid, because at least he gives you the work rate at the forward position, and he does present some problems offensively.
I'd actually like. I mean, I'd actually like Aquino playing at left back. He's gonna go all.
He's not going to sacrifice height against the Germans, so you just that's going to be the first.
So that are you guys thinking he's going to play with Layun, Alanis, Moreno, and Araujo? Because Reyes is injured, right?
Yeah, he looks doubtful.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, Diego Reyes or the other Reyes?
No, Diego Reyes.
No, Diego Reyes. I think
Diego Reyes
actually, if Diego Reyes was healthy, I think
out.
he may be playing. He would be playing in the mid.
Diego Reyes is out. He will not. He's not available.
He actually had Luis Reyes playing in the mid the other day, and he didn't look too bad.
He did, and it cost him a chance to score some goals because the dude did nothing but kick it right at the keeper both times. Like, come on, man! At least make the keeper move a little bit.
But he didn't look terrible there, like retaining possession and defending. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he tried that again either. I mean,
You know what?
he's so unpredictable. It's just
I would actually almost prefer that
to Marco.
to Marco only because I think that disrupting what they do is going to be as important as anything, and I think that he's a guy that can do that. I don't necessarily think Marco can benefit from that, but I don't think Marco can actually cause that as much as Reyes can.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing him there either, to be honest.
And then what would end up happening is that I mean, in a perfect world, if he did do that, then he when he attacked, he would flare outside and then let the winger cut inside.
Cut inside, yeah.
And the Chukis who scored, by the way, with just the one of the great freak goals in Mexico soccer history, the goal against the Rush. That was just fantastic.
Quite possibly the greatest slow motion replay too.
Oh yeah, it was tremendous. His from utter pain to sheer from just unadulterated joy. It was a great a great goal for him, and he took a nasty little mark on his chest. Did you see that, Joel, when he in the mixed zone, he pulled down his shirt and he had the big cleat marks from
missed it. I missed it, John.
And Joel, I'm not gonna lie, his chest was not like White Walker color. It was normal. It was flesh colored.
You know, when they show the replay of that and they show it from the behind the goalie, so the goalie's running out and Chuki's running towards the ball. He never looks at the goalie. He's always looking up at the ball. And I feel like had he looked down at the goalie, he might have hesitated a little bit, but he didn't. He was just looking up the whole time, and he just jumped up like not knowing what was going to be there or how the goalie was going to come out. I feel like had he looked down for like a second and looked at the goalie, he might not have, he might have hesitated a little bit or not jumped up like that. Which credit to him, because I mean I'm one of those people that always hates on him, and credit to him on finishing in that and how he put together that play.
Speaking of which, Joel, did you see the goal live?
Wait, which goal are we talking about again?
The Chucky goal?
Oh nah, man, I missed that game.
You missed the Russia game?
Wait, no. Yeah, I'm thinking of the junior flip now. No. Yeah, I didn't miss the game. I missed the goal.
Okay. Well, you've seen the goal since, I would assume.
No, not really.
You haven't seen the goal. Are you serious?
I still, it's I haven't been excited for this tournament.
Well, to expound on Rigo's point, I actually think it was a good goal for him to get, because at least I've also been a little bit critical of him, but I think this was the perfect kind of goal for him because it didn't really allow him to think. I think that the where he gets about 5 seconds to think about what he wants to do in front of the keeper, I think that's where he shits his pants.
That's the one where he headbutts it and
yeah, he basically gets kicked out by the goalkeeper.
Yeah,
it was the worst defensive goal ever given, probably. I mean, it was a terrible defense.
I saw that goal, the goal molero, but
for sure,
credit to him. Credit to him for looking for it.
It was a hustle play more than anything. Hustle and fearlessness, and credit to him, he did it. But maybe that might give him the confidence of saying, you know what, I could definitely hang with these dudes.
I felt that goal was exactly what Osorio wanted to do when he took out Bela and he put in Aquino and he moved Chucky to that side. Was just pretty much catch them with speed and catch them off a mistake. and it validated his move in doing that. Because there was, up until that point, there was a lot of, well, why are you taking out Carlos Vela?
I think Vela's only good for a half, is what it seems like.
Well, I think he's saving him for all the games because I think he feels I think he gives the opposing team something to think about immediately from the get-go when he's on.
Yeah, he has to play. Yeah, that's so you think we might actually see a full 90 from him?
Depending on how the game's going, yeah, I think they will leave him in unless he's really looking gassed. Yeah.
He seems like he's a little
Not to mention, he's one of the best PK takers too. So if it's close, you have to keep him on.
And you have to bring Raul in because Raul is automatic.
Exactly. So
can Osorio just tell the ref, I want Raul to take him 5 times. Just let him.
just have him slip on a different jersey.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where you think, if I know that Mexico hasn't fared well in penalty kicks, but you think if right now with this current squad, there's some decent penalty kick takers that if they're on at the end of the game, you kind of like our chances. I do.
Against the Germans.
Dude, honestly,
the Germans even beat the team and bend it like Beckham.
I get it, but I'm just saying, Raul is probably amongst the world's best penalty kickers. I mean, you could say that.
To expand on what Dan.
What's that?
I'm saying that. To go off of what you're saying, to me, Mexico should be favorites to win that match. This isn't Germany's top team.
Dude, I wouldn't go that far at all. Germany is favored to win this, but come on, man.
Well, I'm saying for me personally, I mean, we're talking about a squad that's played together for almost 10 years. You have players that have 3-4 World Cups under their belt, and through that, we still can't favor ourselves to be Germany's B team. Then why bother going to the World Cup?
But it's not Germany's B team.
So you're saying if the World Cup starts tomorrow, how many of those guys are starting?
Starting for Germany, I would say about 4.
That's still a B team.
Yeah, I mean Draxler for sure.
Yeah, and it's a big, and I don't know who the keepers are, but you got to figure it's a notch down from
Neuer.
Yeah.
I mean, Ter Stegen still plays at Barcelona.
But to that point though, I kind of agree with you. Not that they should win.
Yeah.
But by no stretch should this be shocking to anybody if they do it. If it's shocking, it's only because Mexico has a tendency to choke in critical moments.
Yeah, and we've gone up against their we've lost, but they've never utterly dominated us.
Who?
The 98 with Germany. The 98, 86 were pretty close. 98 we could have won. I mean, I think we choked on that game, a couple players just lacked that confidence. But I mean, if we're still lacking it and it's not even their full strength, we're just not meant to win, man. Pack it up at that point.
I don't think they're just not meant to win that day.
No, I'm saying, yeah. So I mean, Germany does have the talent to beat us, but I'm saying I will consider Mexico the favorites.
Well, I would disagree with you there. I would consider Germany a little more than a slight favorite. But again, I don't think that they are unbeatable by any stretch. I mean, they've given up as many goals as Mexico has already. 4. So I mean, they can be probed in the right places.
You still wanna show me your cucumber?
That's right. So they can
Mr. Chip, the stat guy, the soccer stat guy, he actually has Mexico favored.
Exactly. See,
Um,
as they should be.
By how much? Like
it's 55 to 45.
exactly. I mean, chinga. That's what you call a toss up.
I mean, this game. I mean,
That's pretty good though. Those are great odds.
Yeah, but you see the Mexican media and everyone's like pretty much.
Well, but see, the thing is that he'll
Pretty
never
much.
get credit because whether he wins or loses, they're gonna say, "Well, how you only, but how could you let their B team beat you?" And it's
I said it before. It's lose-lose for him.
And I guarantee you that out of the Confed Cup players at Germany, there's going to probably be like 8 or 9 of them that end up making them their World Cup team. So this is for people that call us a B team. I think is well, not a slap in the face, but I think it is a little more than just a B team for Germany. I think this is like their 1A.
I mean, I definitely think Mexico can win. I mean, everything is there. You have the talent. You're just putting together a good game plan.
It's like I was playing golf today. It's like, and then I can make a par on that par 4. I just have to put 4 shots together in order for me to do it, and it happens like one out of every 10 holes. So but hopefully Mexico's odds are a little better.
So what you're saying is that Mexico is due.
Yes.
That's
I honestly feel like they're going to win the whole
tournament. This generation is, they need something to define them. We talked about it last week. If this really is, the quote unquote, best generation of players that Mexico's ever produced, then they have to produce something. This is a perfect opportunity for them. And in reality, is this kind of a throwaway tournament? It is. So to me, I think that if regardless of what happens these next few games, to me the goal for them is to make it to the not the quarterfinals in the World Cup, but I think a semifinal would be a great goal for them. And I think that I honestly believe that they actually do have the ability to do it. With Osorio or what, it doesn't matter who the coach is.
Just think about how scary this team could be if Tecatito was there. Like, you would be feeling a whole lot better about every single game going into it, knowing that he was starting on the left. At least personally, I mean, that dude has just some stupid ability to beat people, to beat defenders 1v1.
I'm almost I'm curious after I saw some news about him if somebody has already bought him and said, what, we don't know if we want you playing this tournament.
I've heard that it could be a possible doping.
No, it wasn't that. Because they cannot
keep it under wraps.
They don't have control over that.
That'd be terrible. I have heard the rumor that you're talking about a really big team, really big team, kind of like saying, hey, we want you, but we don't want you playing tournament.
My problem with that is Real Madrid, like Cristiano Ronaldo, go to.
But that's Cristiano Ronaldo.
Exactly.
And just like Messi can do what he wants to, but
by the way, Cristiano
if you're someone
Ronaldo
who wants to get that deal,
really good in a Pumas uniform. I think they should go ahead and make the push for it if he's available.
Do they have 300 million?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think you have a better chance to get Messi because of the Pep Guardiola Mexico connection.
Well, we'll take either one. Maybe they could get in a bidding war for us. I'll lower my price down to 90 million, so I can sign it.
But based on that rumor, though, I don't know. It seems pretty plausible that, like, granted, I know that no club has technically a right, but if Osorio and the federation's like thinking like, hey man, this huge team isn't going to sign him unless he sits this cup out. competition, and they're thinking long-term World Cup. Yeah, what the hell? He'll rest. He'll be fresher going into the season, and maybe be fresher going into the World Cup. What the hell?
I got to tell you, I feel bad for. Well, I don't feel bad for him, but I mean, Chicharito hasn't had a summer off since 2012. And then he got
What do you
one
guys
summer
what
off because he was injured.
what do you guys think of? There's this. I mean, this is what the media has been saying, that Osorio has asked for some players from the Confederation team to play Copa Oro.
Well, I mean, it's some of the sparring guys.
Isn't that kind of counter your whole "I need to rest my guys"? Not play them midweek so that they're well rested, and then you want guys to play 2 tournaments.
Well, keep in mind who he's thinking about sending. If he's talking about sending the guys from that played in the New Zealand match, then they'll be relatively fresh.
I have zero problem with it as long as the clubs.
Because none of the Europeans are going to go.
Right.
No, none of that.
And frankly, I would have much preferred a Jurgen to be playing the Copa Oro than this one anyway. Man, he might be the biggest overthinker that we've had in a while. Poor Jurgen.
I was talking about this on Big Soccer. Somebody had mentioned it, and I totally agreed. Duca's got to convert him into a right back.
Why is that?
I just think that it removes all that element. If you could teach him just to defend a little bit, then like you get to exploit his best virtues, which is his speed. He could
yeah, but the dude only weighs like 110 pounds, man. He's tiny. He can't play.
You could do
sure
it. I mean,
he can. Especially in Liga MX. I mean, if you could have someone like Guti Estrada, I mean.
Yeah, but Guti was a bulldog, man. He was a badass. He was great. He was, just 5'2".
They converted Chapo Sanchez from a right wing to a
but
right
what I'm
back.
saying is that Jurgen has he has no. I mean, he's just a little man boy. I mean, he's he can't weigh more.
Did you see him take? I don't know, man. When he did that Ronaldo pose.
Yeah, but again, I mean, it's like looking at an 8-year-old do the Ronaldo pose. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because he's not going to bulk up. That's
right. Yeah, sure. I mean, he barely weighs. He's like 130 pounds.
I still think in Liga MX he would be awesome in that position if he could learn.
Put it this way, right? Would you rather have him get pushed away and then he not score a goal, or he get pushed away and the other guy scores a goal?
It's frustrating because I don't think he could. I don't see the point of having him on the national team if he's going to be doing that constantly. I mean, yeah, I like I'll give him credit for at least giving Mexico some options, but like for him to squander every one of them, it's a little frustrating.
Yeah,
someone that's going to do something.
I wouldn't mind him at right back. I think with his speed and his recovery, like he would be able to cover any opposing player, even if they are bulkier than him and are stronger than him. He's still going to have the speed to keep up with them and be in front of them and be a nuisance to them. While up front, I feel like he doesn't do anything.
It's like watching a Gringo Castro with skill, a guy who does all these fancy things and then just sends one 80 yards into the stands anyway. I feel bad.
Every time you mention his name, all I do is picture him doing the Michael Jackson dance.
That was his greatest moment as on the national team. I don't know about y'all, but I remember. I don't know if you got to go to that game. It was up in New York, but seeing the way Giovanni and Vela played that afternoon, I mean, I had just huge stars in my eyes. I was like, I could not believe what I was seeing. I was like, man, these guys are just gonna just rip people up for the next 10 years, and like they never played like that ever again.
Which game are you guys talking about?
The 5-0
5-0
against the U.S.
Oh, okay. No, I did not.
And I think Gringo Castro got the last one.
Yeah, on a beautiful Vela pass where he just threaded it perfectly.
And then afterwards, he did like a little Michael Jackson
Tribute.
celebration dance. Yeah.
Because Michael, he dedicated the goal to Michael because the King of Pop had recently passed. So,
have we gotten any when's the last time this Osorio's team had like a lopsided result against a pretty good team?
well,
Never.
that's what pretty good teams have they played? You're talking about like the actual team, the players themselves, or an Osorio coach team?
Has he even had a lopsided victory?
Yeah, I'm just wondering if he's had any memorable
put aside
win.
put aside the quality. I'm just wondering, has he ever put up a lot of goals? I'm trying to think.
I think the most that they've scored in a game is 3.
I think he admittedly has said though that the team has not functioned as far as like offensively, not to his liking. That they're not where he wants it to be. So whatever that's worth, I
maybe his style that he'd like to play is just way too
complicated.
Maybe he's the Chip Kelly of soccer.
You trying to say are you trying to say that our current group of guys are prototypical jocks that are incapable of handling anything that's complex?
No, I mean, but maybe what he's throwing at them is way too complex.
Right? Maybe it's like they all need like calculus degrees to figure out the formulas that the prof is spitting out at him.
Because I mean, maybe it works in a club atmosphere when these guys are playing together, week after week.
Maybe the players just suck. Maybe the players just aren't good enough to handle his system.
So I got a question for you guys. Let's just assume that they win.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. Let's just presume that for a second. And then, do you think he goes with the crazy ass rotations going into the next game, or do you think he puts out his 11, thinking that they've gotten rest for the most part? Now they got to go after 3 days.
He's gonna field the New Zealand game team is what he's gonna do for the finals. Like, just to show everybody.
Because I think that'll really put to test the whole rotaciones theory. Because how hardcore is he invested in this theory of his, as opposed to because what I think, I try to think of him as being in some weird way pragmatic and thinking if I can get these guys into the knockout stage with fresh legs, then that gives us a big advantage over most of our competition, who will be that much more tired.
Right.
I think if they do make it to the finals, it's not going to be like a full 8-man rotation. There are going to be guys that are going to be moved. Like he probably like Wadala would come back, and depending on who the rival is, like he might switch a couple players. But I don't think it would be like a full 8-man rotation. I think he still sticks to he's still going to have his core, but he's going to put players depending on who their opponent is.
Well, how many? Okay, so going back to the Honduras game and then against the U.S., I can't remember how many changes he had, but I don't know if he didn't have that many. It was like just 3 or 4. And then that the base of that with the team that everyone expected to start against Portugal, and they did. And so he had 3 games where it was essentially the same team for the first 3 games. And then he had the 1 game where he changed everybody. So now he's on the first of what is the next 3 games, because they're playing 2 more games. So is he going to keep it the same? or at least keep. I mean, obviously he's not going to start with Giovanni and Marco Fabian both. Though, who knows? But it seems like he would want to have the best he has available out to play against his next two opponents. There's no need for a refresco against anybody here. I mean, it's going to be.
I think that like I said, I think it'll be like one or two changes. It won't be nothing ridiculous, but he won't play with the same lineup because he hasn't played with the same lineup ever in 26 games or 27 games, whatever it's been. And I don't think he will do that. Just because of who's missing from this game, and if they're healthy or available for the next game, I think they'll be in the starting lineup if they are in the finals. So, for example, if Diego Reyes is back, he'll be back. If Guardado is back, he'll be back. Or Guardado will be back. He'll be in the starting lineup. So the lineup is going to be tweaked a little bit. It's not going to be a full,
right
8-man rotation.
Well,
It'll just be.
And the one thing I will say about the rotaciones and the players playing where they've played over these games, it's a game like tomorrow where that stuff actually pays off, because now Marco Fabian, if he does start, I think we're all expecting that. Now he has he's a little bit more comfortable playing that, and he's right, and he's playing against guys that he's played against before, so that it's going to be nothing new to him. So that's why I'm hoping that it's going to be Marco, because I think it's going to and frankly Marco, I'm not sure what's happened to Guardado, but when was the last time the dude took a shot from the field? He just has forgotten to shoot. He doesn't shoot anymore, and he used to have a lethal shot, and you just don't see it.
Yeah, I mean,
we don't have that problem with Marco. He'll take a shot from wherever. And he has a very lethal shot, as we all know.
And he's very good with, taking players on, creating space for himself. So I think he would be a good fit there. I think Luis Reyes would be a good fit there too. I wouldn't mind seeing either of them there.
Yeah.
I don't want to see Rafa Marquez until the 85th minute if he's going to come in.
Right.
I do want to see Raúl Jiménez. I mean, I love Cheech. I just think Raúl Jiménez is the better option.
I have to just take a minute before we jump into that, but I cannot tell y'all how impressed I was with the game that Chicharito had against the Russians. Well, despite the fact he didn't score, I mean, he just played his ass off. As just a terrific game. Just as good a game as he'd ever played. I thought it was just really, really, really good. He deserved all those little tiki-taka passes they had at the end there, where they'd set up Reyes. Why did they set up Chicharito, for God's sake? At least it's going to go in the back of the net. It's he deserved a goal that game. He played
his work rate. His work rate is great.
Yeah.
And what he does with that, what he does when he doesn't have the ball, like his movement in spaces, nobody in Mexico can do it.
And on top of it all, he was getting just horsewhipped by the Russians. I mean, every time he got the ball, man, they just came right at his ankles and ran right through him.
I just think when you're just trying to cross balls in, well, first of all, we don't have guys who can cross the ball properly, and secondly, Cheech is always going up against three defenders. I just feel like in those situations, having a Raúl Jiménez instead of Cheech, maybe Cheech comes in the second half.
Well, they should both play and just play with two forwards is what needs to happen, and just let your midfielders take turns going down the wing. It's not rocket science. They can both play, and they can both play off each other, and they would actually complement each other very well. And that was the other thing that Chicharito would do so well was the runs that he made. Three guys would follow him, and they would just open up a channel for whoever it was that was either dribbling or they'd pass the ball to. He had a terrific game. He is every bit the professional striker that I mean, he just is. You can see that he's really learned how to play the position really well. So I don't think he's going anywhere, I think is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think he's going to play him, especially because he's familiar with the Germans.
Right. Absolutely. All right, boys, it's prediction time. So let's what do we think is going to happen?
Somos muy chingones, es la realidad.
Joel, give us your prediction.
I'm going for the win, John.
For the win.
Mexico for the win.
You know, Joel, I think that is such a courageous pick. You're gonna get a. So
nah, man, it's not, man. We got these players. They're not phased. They've been, I'm telling you, 3-4 World Cups under their belt. You have a player like Chicharo. He's been everywhere. Madrid, Manchester United. He scored against everyone. I mean, you know, I think that's one thing that a lot of these players have. They've just played so many games at national and club level where they're no longer get as phased as some of the other groups where sometimes they would doubt themselves, even though the talent was there. So I think for a lot of these players, and going up of what you said, you know, for this generation, they haven't done anything that to be remembered by, aside from that 7-0. Aside from 7-0.
They did win the gold medal at the Olympics. So
I know, but I'm talking about
but that's not at the senior level. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, at the senior level, they haven't done anything. Because I mean, yeah, some of them had, and you know, I think that plays into it as well. Some of these guys were champions at the U17 at the Olympics. So yeah, for me to have so many doubts, I find it kind of sad.
Joel, you just I'm a little off, but we can't have you sad, Joel. It's just
no, wait.
What?
No, well, I mean, cause it's a cultural thing, you know. It's like, you know, mental midget mentality. I mean, Germany at their best is the better team, but this isn't their best, and we are at our best. So I think we got this one, John.
Lock it up. Put it in the ice box.
Yeah, ganamos por la mínima.
1-0. Joel.
1-0, 2-1, whatever. Yeah.
1-0. 1-0. All right. I'm not sure if Chiquis is on with us. He was muted, so I don't know if he'll hop back on. But Dan, what is your prediction then?
I'm feeling inspired by Joel's take, I guess. I'm gonna say Mexico wins 3-2 because we're still gonna give up goals. But yeah, I'm a believer. I think they're gonna pull it off.
That's fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Rigoberto, what say you?
I am going to go with Dan, and I also think it's going to be 3-2.
Wow.
I think we win. I something about this team that I feel like they're going to win the whole thing. I felt this way about Chivas during the end of the season when they were struggling, getting into the playoffs. And I feel the same way now. I feel like they're going to win. So I say 3-2.
Well,
I don't think
if they make the final,
I don't think they can hold them scoreless
because St. Petersburg.
Russia.
What?
I'm going to have to go to Russia.
Yeah.
I don't think they can hold them scoreless just simply because they haven't been able to hold anybody scoreless in this tournament.
But they can also score goals.
But they can also score goals. So I think 3-2 is going to be the final result.
You think if Mexico finds a way to become somewhat proficient in front of goal, and then you're able to keep that offensive extra that you're getting from set pieces, they could be pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
Wait,
Because I think that's where the most of the goals that I think, and at least in my opinion, are lacking is from actually like open play and from our forwards. At least in this tournament,
they're gonna get like 3 or 4 better than decent chances in this game. They have to put away at least 2 of those. They have to. One goal is not going to be enough against Germany. I think that they're going to have to score 2 to either to win or to draw them. I think it's going to be a draw, and I think it's going to penalties. But I'm going to change what I wrote a few weeks ago. I think Mexico actually wins in penalties. We beat the Germans in penalties.
I don't know if my heart can handle that.
see, that's where I'm more confident on the Germans, John, when it comes to PKs.
Yeah, well,
I would make them the favorites there too.
the Germans did lose a penalty kick to the Brazilians in the last Olympics. So I think that's actually the first time I've ever seen Germany ever lose in penalty kicks in anything. So maybe the mystique has been eliminated, and they're now vulnerable to the set piece, whereas before they were impermeable. No, I do think it's going to be a great game. It's going to be a very offensive game. I like y'all's 3-2 picks, and I could absolutely see it going that way, especially late. I think they even beat the when they played the U17. I think that was a 3-2 game, if I'm not mistaken, that they ended up winning. So yeah, it's going to be. Hopefully they'll get through and make the final. But I do think that we're all in agreement that if this is the group in order for this to happen, and I think that but this can't be all they do. I think that this winning this tournament's great, but then the reality is it's just not that important. Getting a better result at the upcoming World Cup, I think, is 1,000 times more important than the Confederations Cup, and so hopefully this will be a good foundation for them to get them where they need to be. And I think that if they do end up winning this tournament, which is a big if, but if it does happen, it'll help their seeding to get that Group C for the World Cup, and that ultimately should be the goal for all of this is to get that Group C, because it'll improve their chances dramatically, as we have seen, if that does happen. So, unfortunately, Joel, I was looking at the list of teams that aren't seeded anymore in the FIFA thing, and there are a lot of gigantic fish that are not going to be seeded that are going to cause some major problems in people's groups.
So we might have more than one group of death.
That's right. You're exactly right. But having Mexico be a seed of a group, I think lessens that chance.
Yeah, that would suck for us if we got the seed, but then we ended up in a group of death again.
Right. Like Mexico, Spain, Uruguay, Ivory Coast, just some awful group like that. would be very rough. But all right, gentlemen. Well, I think that we've just about covered everything we need to cover here tonight. We've made our predictions. Everyone is expecting Mexico to win by the slimmest of margins, but win nonetheless. Which hopefully our confidence will rub off on the players Thursday as they take on Germany, and they're playing in Sochi, if I'm not mistaken. So they're back over to Sochi, where they beat New Zealand 2-1. So it's familiar grounds for them. Hopefully it'll work out for them. Of course, we'll be on again Thursday. Now, Albert and I are going to be in Houston tomorrow. So in addition to just this crazy schedule that we have, talking about the Thursday game, we'll also talk about Mexico's prep for the Gold Cup, which is still boggles the mind that there is this on the schedule, but we'll cover it nonetheless, and look forward to doing so, and we'll look forward to bringing you guys that coverage as well. Gentlemen, it's been an honor to have a special Taco Tuesday edition of our CantinaMX podcast with you. Dan, thank you so much for joining us. We'll talk to you again on Thursday.
Can't wait, John. My pleasure.
All right. Thanks, Dan. Good luck.
Yep.
Joel, thank you very much for joining us. I'll talk to you again on Thursday.
Thank you, John. I'll be back.
Excellent. And Rigo, enjoy. How's the humidity out there in Florida? It's
about 90% humidity every day at 6 a.m.
Wow.
Terrible.
Oof.
But thank you guys for having me, and hopefully we'll all be happy on Thursday.
Hopefully that'll be the case. But even if we're not, we'll still have a podcast and we'll still dissect the game as we always do.
And we'll have 2 games to dissect.
That's right. That's exactly right. Well, mine. I don't know if Chiquis, are you on?
Yeah, I'm back.
Oh, Chiquis is back. Well, thanks for setting this up again, Albert. Thanks for coming on. And now, before we go, we have to get your prediction.
I think it could probably be a slim win by Germany. Unfortunately. Maybe a 2-1 or a 3-2. It'll be an interesting match. But the leaky defense is just not acceptable, and it's going to be their downfall.
Dude, we'd ended the show on such a high, and everyone's in a good mood, and now you just totally brought us totally.
Hey, but if Portugal beats Chile, and then they meet Chile in the third place,
right?
That would be an awesome win for Mexico if they could take that one.
Well, what about beating Chile in the final?
I don't want third place.
Yeah, who cares about that? Third place is like they're like more worthless than friendlies.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like it either, but this German offense against the leaky defense, like Ronnie says, I don't know. It doesn't look good, but hopefully we will be happy on Thursday.
Well, hopefully we'll. Well, thanks, Albert, for hooking all this up, and thanks to all y'all that are listening. I don't know if we have any predictions on the chat. I'm gonna check the chat in a minute. Doesn't look like we have anything that we need to discuss over the air that y'all that are on the chat can actually see. So okay. Well, my name is John Jagu. Glad to have everybody on live, and again we'll do this again Thursday night at our usual time at 9:30 Central, which is 10:30 on the East Coast, 7:30 on the West Coast. We will talk to you guys then. Thank you very much for joining us.